对吗？那么我们就一直在增长国家。第三，请投国人票，国人为先党一票，好不好？谢谢大家。
All right, thank you very much, Gregory. Won't you wait? Jerome, good evening again. Can I hear you? Can I hear you, Jerome? I can't hear you. Can you make that up? Jerome, how are you? Jerome, are we already fed up with PAP? I cannot hear you. Are you fed up? Listen, we need your support, Jerome. We need your support. We are counting on you. We also need your support. If you have any flags or clappers to wave when we call for some of our candidates on stage, can we do that? If you don't have any flags or clappers, we have a booth over there where we're selling them. And everything that we collect, all sales and proceeds will go to the party as a donation so that we can continue with all this election campaign. I am about to introduce to you all our candidates again. And I'm going to bring them out on stage. So, if you can give them a resounding roar, I can bring them all on stage again. Can you give them a roar? Can you just scream, sing first? One more time, sing first! Sing first! Sing first!
Sing first!
Sing first! Keep going! Sing first!
Sing first!
Sing first!
Sing first!
Alright, all 10 of them out here today. Before I call out the next candidate to deliver his speech, you get a chance to take some photographs if you like. And in a short moment, I will introduce you to our next speaker. So, one last time, all I ask you again, are you fed up with PAP?
Yes!
I don't think they can hear you. Can you say that again? Are you fed up with PAP?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, David Fu.
Thank you. Good evening, my fellow Singaporeans in Jurong. Can I hear a roar from you? Roar! Roar! Can the people at the back please come closer so we can have a good look at you? My fellow Singaporeans, it rained this evening, and what a blessing it was. Why do I say that? Because the weather is much cooler now. Very much cooler for us to sit, stand, and chat. Jurong is a location that's rich in history. It was here that the foundation stones of our industrialization are part and parcel of this history. Give yourself a hand of applause. Let us tonight review the past so that we can understand how we got here today in this present mess, shall we say? In the 1970s, when Jurong was rapidly developed on an industrialization program, the aim was to create jobs for Singaporeans through foreign direct investment. And to address this shortage of skilled labor or trained labor shortages, two policy options were introduced. First, in order to produce skilled labor, the government provided for education of the youth. It was an investment. On-the-job training for young adults, it was an investment. And mobilization of the underemployed, it was an investment. What do you think the other policy option was? Tell me, what do you think the other policy option was? Immigration or emigration? Tell me. Thank you, it's immigration. There was a migration of skilled labor, and this was meant to be a temporary solution. It was meant to supplement to address the long-term development of the Singapore labor force. So while we develop our labor into skilled labor, we take in migrants that can do the job for us over the short term. At that time, the rate of job creation was faster than what the Singaporean workforce can supply. So what do? We look towards our neighbor. And we began to import foreign labor. And this was in the beginning of our industrialization program in the 1970s. When Malaysia was unable to supply sufficient workers, what did? We looked at the non-traditional sources. We looked at Bangladesh. We looked at Sri Lanka and Thailand. And we imported more workers. Even the late Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, warned of the dangers of taking too much workers. In 1971, at a National Day rally, Mr. Lee warned, if you take in too many, then instead of our values being superimposed on them, they will bring us down to their values. Because it is easier to be untidy, scruffy, dirty, antisocial, than to be disciplined, well-behaved, and a good citizen. And this is what Mr. Lee said. At that time, the development policy was for Singapore to be a dependable value for money base of production for multinationals that does not require domestic or any technology creation. Growth was export-oriented. We implemented an economic strategy of adopting and copying technology imported by foreign investors. And where did that bring us to? What did the late Mr. Goh Keng Swee said? He was full of trepidation. In 1972, at an address at the then University of Singapore, Mr. Goh said, Singapore is probably in a unique position that she is now in, dependent on the continuing supply of foreign workers to sustain our economic growth. The question we need to ask sooner or later is this: when do we stop? Or to be more precise, at what point do we stop importing foreign workers and cease to encourage foreign entrepreneurs and capital in Singapore? Why? Because of our limited land area. Industrial expansion, together with the population expansion, will produce overcrowding to increasingly uncomfortable limits. Do we feel that today?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Do we feel that today?
Yes.
Thank you. So the PAP of the old is quite different from the PAP of today. The PAP of the old had foresight. People like me, my esteemed colleagues here, we were supporters of the PAP. Now what happened? Again, a quotation from Dr. Goh Keng Swee. When we select the right industries to develop in Singapore, our dependence on multinational companies will be less. And we will be able, by our own effort of improvement of wage level, will be larger, more sustainable,